Trying to get the, it's getting all over my electronics.
That's what she said. What?
That doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't, Nicole.
Hey, Dad.
What?
It's a really bad commercial.
Well, on YouTube, a really bad commercial? How surprising.
I got on the neighbor's Wi-Fi.
What?
I got on the neighbor's Wi-Fi. What are we gonna do? My face is perfect too. All right. Well, there's
it's for boondocks. I think that's a amusement park.
Oh. Well, that's stuff that no one else can enjoy because they can't see your screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
So it's Friday Live.
It is.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are here to bore you for the next roughly 35 to 40 minutes.
What have you been doing on this table?
It never ceases to amaze me how surprised you are that there's wood dust
It never ceases
in my shop.
and you could have at least cleaned it up for me.
I could have, but you know what? I'm busy. Okay. So let's talk about some woodworking stuff. So we've got questions. We've got a few things to present.
I was really late on Patreon. I'm sorry. My brain is...
Well, look, Ava finally is in a half-day program, daycare, pre-K sort of thing. So Nicole got at least part of her morning back, which is nice.
And I'm like, this is me for like 3 hours. I gotta get it done. Gotta get everything done.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, doing the show with the kid here, it's like, I mean, I love my kids, but I don't like mixing work with kids. Yeah. It's very distracting for me. So Ava's not here, so you hopefully will find the show to go a little bit more smooth today.
Shh, Daddy. No talking.
Shh, Daddy, quiet.
Quiet.
Okay, so quick business stuff. If you want to help out by supporting the show, go to patreon.com/woodwhisper, and you could sign up for one of those little pledgy things and get some stuff in return. Get priority service for your questions.
Yep, we broadcast this over on YouTube on our Offcuts channel. So if you're watching this going, I didn't know this existed.
I had no idea.
You should probably subscribe to the Wood Whisperer Offcuts channel.
Well, but don't you remember we were just talking about this? That I may be pushing everything over to the main channel.
This guy.
I'm so indecisive.
Just stop.
No.
We're good.
I like to really keep people guessing. Like.
Well, there's somebody from Tahiti in here. Oh. Tam. Hey, Tam.
Tofuti. Okay.
Name that movie.
Yeah. So.
Tofuti.
All right, what the heck was I saying? Yeah, we might actually be moving away from the Offcuts channel. Don't ask me why. It's a long story, but I think the live show will get more people if it's on the main channel. I will most likely unlist. If you want to blame someone, blame Johnny Brook. This was his idea.
Oh, back at IWF, you guys were like
brainstorming, coming up with ideas. Yeah, so we may be pushing it. Either way, it's going to be easy to find. Subscribe to the channels and you'll be fine.
Jen Begg got it. Overboard. It is Overboard.
She got it.
The original, not the remake.
You go, girl.
Speaking of IWF, so when you give Mark things when he's on the road, it is possible that I will not see it until I go through his luggage, which was what happened after last week's show. So you received 2 T-shirts. I have one, and you got one. They're both larges, which is fine.
What she's trying to say is she'll never wear it.
No, I'll wear it, maybe.
But I will wear it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Katz Moses, and by the way, really super nice guy. He also gave me the
card.
But he also gave me the dovetail.
Oh, the
marker.
dovetail.
Yes.
So I love this card.
Oh, you got dust on my shirt, Nicole.
Well, that's your fault.
Oh, look at that. It's Ariel.
And it says, Mark, there weren't any I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel cards, so I figure I'd, since you like stickers, enclose 2 of the dovetail jigs I invented and a KMW shirt. Cheers, Jonathan Katz Moses.
That's awesome.
And then Jonathan gave me a card too, and I just wanted to say thank you, Jonathan. And I think it's actually really sweet that you think I'm either a medium or small shirt, because I'm not. So I wish. So thank you for that. Those were nice cards. And then you had a ton of stickers.
I got so many stickers from people.
Yeah, so I love this one. So this is Freeman Woodworking. That is awesome.
That is
this
definitely
beard.
cool. Nice. Yeah, so thank you everybody again. Anyone who came out to IWF, that was a blast.
So
really
that was just
appreciate
part 2 of IWF stuff.
Oh, and the Cat's Moses dude, that dovetail marker jig deal.
On your
I got a couple of them. I should have brought it out. I forgot about it. But they're clear plastic or some kind of resin, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely plastic material with magnets. It's a great little saw guide. Very, very cool. Maybe I'll show it next week. But definitely check that out.
Cool beans.
All right, should we go to questions?
I think we should.
I'm going to let you know something.
Oh, what?
Because my neck was hurting, I took a painkiller.
Okay.
So I may be a little loopy today.
Okay.
If you haven't noticed.
We've been, well, you slept on the couch the other night. Not because he was being a jerk.
Sleep on the couch. No, you want to know? Okay, here's the truth. Here's what happened. Ava decided that were potty training.
Yes.
And she peed on the bed.
My side of the bed.
On Nicole's side of the bed. And we've got one of those sleep number beds, so each one has
separate.
its own like a zipped on mattress pad. And I came in there and I didn't know where she peed, but I see this big wet spot. What's the big wet spot? Well, our Doberman likes to jump on the bed and just
paw.
lick, lick, lick. But as she's doing it, she's drooling. So there's this giant wet spot that I thought was pee. So I go and throw that in the washer, and it just became this whole debacle. We couldn't get the thing dry because the dryer was not working. Who knows?
It's a whole thing.
It was being stupid. So then I'm like, well, I'm not going to sleep on this raw partial bed. Like it would have been like sleeping on that egg crate material. So I had to.
I don't see any problems with.
Well, anyways, I had to sleep on the couch, and not because I was in the doghouse.
Yeah. So I'm grabbing questions from the YouTube chat, as well as if you are a Patreon member, we do have a post on Patreon that I'm monitoring those as well, because Mark has a couple of questions.
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
The first one from Kevin.
Kevin Windsor. He says, "Hey Nicole,
Hi.
please ask Mark if he has a secret way to avoid burning on the wide belt sander."
Hey. Do you have a secret way of avoiding burning on the white belt sander?
That's a great question, Nicole. Thanks for asking. He says, "I'm thinking a light cut with a fast feed rate, but I haven't found the right combination. I'm sure every machine is a little bit different." Well, you're right, Kevin. They are a little bit different, but there are some rules of thumb when it comes to wide belt sanders, drum sanders. The key is to get it out of your head that you're thicknessing with this. Now, you could put on an aggressive grit and you can bring the thickness down, but it's best to look at these tools. I mean, unless you've got a really big industrial unit, maybe a dual drum type unit, you want to think of them as surfacers, not necessarily a thicknesser. So you're really just kind of doing the sanding operation after you've gotten pretty close to your final thickness. And if you think in those terms, you probably won't take too much or be too aggressive, because if you're too aggressive, you're then going to thin it out too much. And I think that's what a lot of people make a mistake of when they're using those units, is they think that it's just another version or a smoother cutting version of a planer, and it's not. Right? So if you are having lots of burning, of course you can control the feed rate. You want to make sure that you aren't taking too much of a cut. Also, check your paper. Right? The paper can make a big difference. I actually experimented with paper from a third party and threw that into the drum sander, and just found that I was just doing cherry, and I would get those burning tracks like immediately. And then I switched back to the Powermatic brand, and I don't know if it's Klingspor that makes theirs. I'm pretty sure it is. But that paper was of just a different, I can't even say it's a better quality because I don't know what the reasons were that this was happening, but it was clearly different, and I could actually be a little bit more aggressive with that paper because it would clear the chips a little bit better and didn't cause burning. So usually what the key is to just, first of all, not take big bites, but always run your pieces through multiple times at the same setting, 2 to 3 times to send it through, and then adjust it just a little bit lower and send it 2 to 3 times again, and that should help avoid burning.
I wasn't listening to you.
Of course, well, I mean.
Did you talk about the Freemont nightstand sale?
Oh my God, no.
Oh, well there you go.
I didn't. So we'll pause before we go to the next question. Thank you for the reminder. So very quickly, if you're interested in green and green, you don't want to miss this opportunity, and you don't want to miss this price because it's never going to be any cheaper. Right now, it's
maybe a long time from now.
Well, no, let me just say never.
Okay.
People have short memories. When I do in 5 years, I reduce the price, no one will know. So it's the last day to get the 40% off of the Freemont Nightstand. If you are into green and green, you probably know who Daryl Peart is. And a couple months ago, I spent 5 days in Daryl's shop filming this project, and it is green and green from a master of green and green, and this guy knows his stuff. So
He's written a lot of books.
Yeah, he's done 2 at least that I know of. So if you're interested in Green and Green, you don't want to miss this. And it is right now, if you pre-order and package it with 2 other projects, you get the full 40% discount on all 3 of those projects. We released the first video today, and because I have all the footage ahead of time, this is one that I'm probably going to dump the footage and dump the videos out as soon as they're ready. So within the next 2 weeks, you could expect all of the videos to be delivered and not doled out week by week like we usually do.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
you have a question?
Sure. Actually, I have a couple super chats.
I'm gonna burp.
Our friend Triple J Customs Jose, Hola Spags, here's for your coffee run.
Yo, dude! Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you,
Appreciate
Jose.
that. Hey, look. I'm Nicole. I'm driving around in my Traverse with the top down.
You look like the NCIS or whatever,
Yeah.
the guy that would put his sunglasses
I'm gonna
on.
sing that chandelier song.
I don't even know what you're talking
The chandelier one
Oh, yeah,
with that
yeah,
crazy blonde chick.
about. Oh, stop.
Chandelier!
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know what you're
What's her
talking
name? I forget her name.
Who knows?
Oh,
It's
Sia.
goofy music. Who
Stop.
knows? Listen.
You're goofy.
Okay, go ahead.
Ellie Kochman says, I just wanted to say thank you for setting up a great mentorship for me.
That thing's working out for some people,
Ellie
huh?
was my first successful pairing in the guild group on Facebook.
Awesome.
They rolled out that mentorship thing, and I matched her up with Marc.
Not me.
Not
Mark
you.
Nyland, I think
Mark
you said?
Nyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, not you.
Don't match anyone up with
But
me.
you know who I do have as a mentor? So I have lists. So a bunch of people have said, I want to be mentors, but I don't have any people to match them up with
Mm-hmm.
mentees. Alex Snodgrass is in there as a mentor.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm just waiting for
the
somebody
right person.
for the right person.
I want to build something bandsaw related. Okay,
right.
that's cool.
Yeah. So I have a ton of mentors just
That's cool.
waiting for mentees in that Facebook
That's
guild
cool.
group. Do you want to do Benjamin's?
So I'm going to have to turn the camera for this one. Our good buddy Ben wrote in and says, in the recent miter bench video, I saw that Marc has a DeWalt up on the miter bench. Why the change from Bosch to DeWalt? Well, first of all, I like to punish myself by buying a new miter saw every couple of months. Hold on a second. Let me move the camera, get a little focus. Okay, so this is the DeWalt saw that I picked up. I think it's the 716, that's what it is, DW716. This is basically just a chop saw. Is it a dual bevel? Yes, it looks like it goes both ways. But the bottom line is it's a 12-inch chop saw, no sliding action. The reason I did this and the reason I moved away from the Bosch is just my personal evolution of what I'm doing with a miter saw. So here's the whole sorted story. When I got the Capex, I started to do a lot more of my fine cross cuts and finish cuts at the miter saw because the Capex was a pretty clean cutting saw and had good capacity. So I started to sway away from my table saw sleds and using the Capex for a lot of those cross cuts. Then, over time, I wound up getting rid of the Capex and started using more sleds. So I've got the Incra 5000, which is just a killer sled. I know it costs money and you could build one yourself, but holy crap is it great. But I'm doing a lot more of my fine cross cuts and repeatable cross cuts there. And since I don't have the Capex, the saws that I'm using are not cutting quite as well as the Capex did, so I'm using that less and less for my cross cuts. It's becoming more of a, like if I'm doing any kind of trim, I'm gonna use it for that, or if I'm doing rough cuts on my rough lumber. So what happens is my needs for a chop saw have been really simplified. Right? So I don't necessarily need the big slider anymore. What I need is something that's going to quickly and accurately chop at 90 degrees, or recently, for making trim for the miter bench, 45 degrees. And because these are simpler in design, there's just not as many moving parts, it's much easier to get them calibrated, keep them at 90 degrees, and they stay that way. And as woodworkers, most of the time, that's all we need, right? Is a very specific angle, most of the time, 90 degrees. So for that reason, I went with this guy. Additionally, it's a much smaller footprint. I believe I'm able to get this saw in about a 26-inch span, left to right, which is relevant to the miter station build. For the Bosch, to be able to handle all of the miter cuts and make sure I have enough room, I needed 36 inches, a full 10 inches more of capacity to handle that bigger saw. So anyway, this guy, dust collection is pretty good. I've done a few little add-ons to help improve that as well. You might be curious, this is the Festool K-Pex clamp, which actually does fit. It's not perfect, it does it's a little bit too loose, so that sort of friction catch that you're supposed to get to secure it is not working as well as it should.
It's a Frankensaw.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Frankensaw. Infinity Tools, or Infinity whatever their website is, they sell a aluminum zero clearance insert here, and you could pop in disposable inserts in the center of that, which is, I think I'm going to order one of those because I think that's great.
Yeah, infinitytools.com.
Okay, Infinity Tools has those. So, and I believe it's on back order right now. So that's really it. That's the story behind the miter saw. Smaller footprint, simpler saw, probably will do everything I need it to do. If a board is too wide for this, I'm usually just doing rough cuts, well, I'll flip it over and do a second cut from the other side. And I usually don't work with material that's any wider than that. And if I do, that's why I have a jigsaw. And
Well,
that's
there you go.
the story of the miter saw.
We have a super chat from Dave57005. He says, "Hi guys."
Hey,
Hi Dave.
what's up, Dave?
How
Hey,
you doing?
ding.
How you doing?
Speaking of how you ding. Oh, I'm supposed to finish that sentence?
Yeah.
Okay. How you ding, how you ding. Somebody, who wants to name that movie? That's it.
Oh,
That's,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
don't you say it. It's going to be obscure. How you ding.
How you doing?
And if someone guesses it, then I'll tell you the rest of the story. Oh, I got to brighten it up a little bit. So, okay, got another question?
Sure. Have one from Jeannie Grassi. What's the reason for getting a router plane if they already have motorized routers? Is there something they do that I can't do with any other tool?
There's redundancy there, Jeannie. The reason I like to use it is because sometimes power tools are either too aggressive or it's harder to control the depth. So for instance, if you're cutting a dado in a cabinet side or a groove in a cabinet side, if the panel is even slightly bowed at all, or if you don't put even pressure, a lot of times as you're pushing it through a dado stack, it can lift, right? And between the bow and the lifting action, you may end up with a depth that's not completely consistent as it goes across. So one thing that's great is you basically grab a router plane, set it for your ideal depth, and run that through. And this sucker is going to take anything that's high, it's going to knock it down. Now you could use a regular router for this, but this is so much less aggressive. In order to use a regular router for that, well, now you've got to match up your bit to the size slot that you just cut, and you have to have a fence so that you don't wander off your line. This guy just basically is cleaning up the bottom of that groove or that dado. Of course, you know, hinge mortising, things like that. There are just reasons why a router plane is a little bit better at the job because it's not as aggressive and you have more control and can sneak up on the fit. There's probably a lot more reasons you want to use this, but this is one of the primary hybrid woodworking tools that I recommend as an accessory to a power tool shop because of its ability to fine-tune your results. And by the way, I should mention hybrid woodworking, twwstore.com if you want to get that book.
Signed.
To this day, still selling like hotcakes, folks. I never thought it would, but just got my royalty statement. We have crested 15,000 sales on the book. Yeah, since it was written. Oh, and people are going to ask.
Do we buy?
Probably all of them. And before people ask, the next book is still being worked on, slated for release in March. If you search Amazon for Essential Joinery, you will find the pre-order. That's not my pre-order. That's from the publisher. So keep in mind, you can pre-order the book, but if you do, if Nicole and I decide to do some kind of a bonus program by pre-ordering with us, that will not receive that. And it also won't be autographed.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
By
it's all through
anyone,
Amazon.
yeah, anyone through me, and I'll make announcements about that probably in the new year. And we will have some kind of a promotion. So not that I want to discourage you from pre-ordering, but if you do from Amazon, you're not going to get the bonuses.
I mean, you can pre-order
True.
and then cancel it.
You can cancel it before the time
before
comes.
It ships. We have a super chat from Alex Kilpatrick. Old used eBay hand tools, worth the risk or better to do without any until I can justify a set of new Nielsen planes?
Well, hand
You
tools.
still didn't show me the planes that I bought you.
They're over there.
Oh, are they?
Hey, you want to go grab them?
Yeah, I'll go grab them. You talk about it.
Okay. Hand planes and hand tools in general, you can get some really smoking deals out there. But it is a little bit hard because a lot of times you're just looking at the picture and hoping that this thing can be tuned up and right on top of those square things and brought up to a condition that they become usable. I don't think that's a bad experience to go through. I've tuned up a couple hand planes in my time, and that experience of tuning it up and then enjoying whatever results I could get from it was something that told me that I'm better off buying Lie-Nielsen tools because that process is very annoying to me. So I think it's a personal thing. A lot of people really like the challenge of buying this old rusty beat up tool and refurbishing. A lot of people really love that. So you might be one of those people. But if you can get it at a low price and you could maybe upgrade the plane iron and just kind of soup it up a little bit, I think that'd be a pretty cool way to go. And it's a good way to get to know the tools. That said, if the budget is there, a lot of times it's just easier to buy a tool that is ready to go out of the box. See, when I first started, I didn't know what a hand plane was supposed to do. Gotcha. So when I buy an old hand plane and then I tune it up using instructions I found online in a forum because YouTube wasn't a thing at the time, the results I got, I don't know if it was because number one, I sucked and my technique was bad, or maybe the tool itself just really wasn't fixed up as well as I thought it was. What buying a Lie-Nielsen did for me was show me that, okay, this is what a plane is supposed to do. Okay, now I get it, right? So there's room for all of those options.
No one has got your movie reference yet.
No?
A couple had a guess.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Okay, well, let me give you the clue. Someone told me recently that I look like the rich guy from Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. So Robert Downey Jr. is your second clue. Yeah. Okay. This is one of the planes, well, two of the planes Nicole got me, just wooden-bodied hand planes. And, they're totally usable.
Do they have a blade in it?
Yeah. Oh, this one doesn't. This one is no blade. This one does. So totally usable. I mean, the frog sort of works. It probably would need quite a bit of love. Yeah. I got a little bit of flaking on the sole here. That would need to be fixed. But,
I got it more for decoration.
I was going to say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go, now how do I mount this on the wall? That would look fantastic. Okay, so that's it for my questions.
And I made the guy's day when I bought them from him, too. So.
I'm sure you did. Oh, I wanted to thank someone. We have a Patreon.
A new Patreon?
Yeah, one person, Tom Michelin. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
We really appreciate your support. I was supposed to do that at the beginning.
We have a super chat.
I got a super
from Make Brooklyn. He said, I'm assuming never seen one of these before. So
Brooklyn!
You go. Happy Friday.
Sorry.
He also said he likes Dougie's Instagram.
Oh, good. Yeah, if you guys don't follow Dougie on Instagram, he's Dougie Spag, Duggee Spag, and he is quite the personality.
Yes, he does. He talks. Did you know he talks? He can type.
Yeah,
it's
he can
crazy.
Type. Did you find it funny that people were like, there's no way he got on that table himself? We have a picture of Dougie. So Nicole made popcorn. She makes the best homemade popcorn. So she made a big bowl of popcorn. She had a little and put it on the table. I was putting Mateo to sleep. And she goes, hey, there's more popcorn downstairs for you, left it on the table. Well, in this house, you cannot leave food on a surface that any dog can get to.
Yeah.
So she put it on the kitchen table, and I come downstairs from reading to Mateo, and I see Ding Dong on top of the table having his way with a giant bowl of popcorn, standing on top of the table, which was funny because he's a bulldog and he's like 65 pounds of chub.
He thinks he's a Doberman.
His perception is definitely off.
There was a time where him and Millie were running back and forth, and he wanted to jump on the couch, and so the couch is like the back.
But the back of the couch.
The back of the couch. So he was going to try to jump onto the.
And it's what, 32, 34 inches high.
He just hits the couch full force.
He had full confidence that he was going to leap over this thing, but meanwhile, maybe got a third up the height.
I laughed so hard. And he's just like, he committed to jumping up on that couch.
There was no doubt in his mind. He was going to make that jump.
Oh, man.
I love Dougie.
A bunch of guests. Some people said Back to School. I don't think he's in that movie, though.
Nope. Well, he might have been. I don't know.
Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang. Nope.
You want me to tell you?
Just tell him.
Weird Science.
Weird Science.
It was a scene where...
They're at the party.
Because Robert Downey Jr. is the jerk in that one, right?
Yep.
And it was when they arrived at a big party, And that was the party that Wyatt and
Gary
had at the house, right?
How you doing?
And he walks in and he goes, "How you ding? How you ding?" I don't know why it sticks in my mind.
And I don't know why we're talking about it
weird
so long.
science. Anyways, well, people like the movie quotes.
I love that movie. Let's see. Oh, we got a super chat from Nismo613. Hey guys, I'm making a tabletop for a farmhouse style dining table.
Sweet.
And looking to do breadboard ends.
Cool.
Is there a rule of thumb for the sizing of the mortise and tenon width and depth? Did you cover that in the video?
No, because I did dominoes on that one.
Gotcha.
You know, there are rules of thumb, and you can find them by Googling. I don't know them off the top of my head, but especially if you're putting that big, wide breadboard end on there, you should really look into the depth of these things because you want to be able to support that. You go really wide, and it can be risky.
The farmhouse table that Matt made, does it have breadboard ends, or is it just?
Yes.
Oh, it does.
It does.
So he probably covered it.
And I know
it's a guild project.
Matt probably did. I'm pretty sure it does. Look it up real quick.
I don't know.
But anyway, in the guild, Matt did cover that. But this is info that you could probably find just by Googling. So
The Googles. Let's see. Oh, I have a last-minute Patreon edition from James Alexander. He says, "Hey guys, hope everything's getting better for you all. I'm in the planning stages of a large walnut desk that will second as a leather craft station." Oh, that sounds cool. The top will be an inch and a quarter.
Inch and a half.
Inch and a half.
Thick, not think.
Thick. And I'm trying to plan ways to keep it flat without breadboard ends. Thoughts? It's all about the breadboard. It's all about the
All
breadboard,
about the breadboards, baby. All right. Top will be inch and a half thick. Well, look, here's the thing, guys. You don't need breadboards. Like a lot of people think you have a big tabletop, you absolutely must have breadboards. It's not the case. If the wood is dried properly, if it is milled properly and assembled properly and then put into a space that's climate controlled, chances are it's going to be fine. I mean, there might be slight cupping or bowing here and there. Wood is wood. It's going to do what it's going to do. But I don't think there's any reason to think that a solid desktop of that dimension is suddenly going to turn into a potato chip. I just made a, 75 inches by 36 inches desktop, and I didn't put breadboard ends on that, and I certainly don't expect it to go nuts on me, right? So just don't do breadboard ends. There's no, and keep it flat by employing proper technique. Also, worst case scenario, if you are really afraid that it's going to move, you can apply cleats to the bottom, giving them some room to wiggle on the outside edges. So you could use cleats if you needed to. And also the base that you construct. By securing this thing down to the base, that is something that will also help keep this thing as flat as it can possibly be over time.
The Beardless Man, how scared should I be doing epoxy inlays on a tabletop I've never done on epoxy on before?
Epoxy inlays
can be challenging, right?
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of epoxy brands out there now. Yeah. Epoxy is like, it's a whole thing. There's really nothing to worry about because you do an epoxy inlay, it's all about the inlay, the negative space. As long as that looks good, then you just backfill with epoxy.
Right. And make sure the bubbles.
Right, bubbles are I was just going to mention it. That's probably the only thing you need to worry about. So get yourself a heat gun or a little torch. You basically need heat that once you do the pour and you let it settle for a few minutes, you'll wind up getting lots of air bubbles. Some of them will come from the wood, some are just trapped air bubbles from mixing the epoxy, but the heat immediately pops those bubbles, right? And I think if you do that and you overfill slightly so that the epoxy becomes a little bit of a heaped bubble over the inlay, then you could flatten everything after it cures. I don't think you're going to have any problem with it. It's a pretty straightforward process.
We have a super chat from Daniel Childs. Douglas fir that is 100 plus years old, reclaimed from housing. Is there safety concerns in old wood, asbestos, lead, or did I just get lucky?
Okay.
Old wood.
There could be safety concerns.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have to worry about lead unless it's painted.
Right.
Or asbestos. I mean, bottom line, once you do your first round of cleanup on there, you're probably removing any kind of impurities or anything that was on it.
Like a swab testing kit that he could test for
There are
lead
test kits, but again, I don't see why there would be lead in it unless he was removing coats of paint. But ultimately, I can't imagine it's going to be a safety hazard for you unless you visibly see something that's problematic. If you have, let's say, floorboards from an old factory, okay, well, there might be an issue there. You could have oils or chemicals that have absorbed into the wood, but it sounds like this is just housing material. It's probably unlikely that there's any major safety stuff to worry about. But again, paint is going to be the thing you would really be concerned about. Asbestos, I just can't see why that would factor into this. But it doesn't hurt to be a little bit precautious. Make sure you're wearing your respirator when you give that thing a pass through the planer to remove the old material from one side or the other. You really want to be cautious. Maybe immediately take that dust from your dustbin and just throw it away. And then resume working with the stuff like it's brand new wood.
Be gone, dust.
Big on you, dust. I actually emptied mine yesterday. I am at the point now.
You think it's everywhere. I don't think you collected anything.
And I get made fun of for my shop being too clean. Look at the expectations I have to live up to. I had to empty my dustbin last night, and I am so thankful for, just a shout out to Oneida and their setup. I have a wheeled bin that's like a 30-gallon drum and a band clamp type thing at the top. It's so fast to change, and I've got the dust century, century, that, how do you say that without making it sound like century?
Yeah, I thought so.
Century.
Century.
Anyways,
I don't know.
it told me that the dustbin was full, and within about 3 minutes, I had the dust bag out, wrapped up, new bag in place, and I was back to work.
Boom,
but
bam,
3
boom,
minutes
boom,
to change that out.
That's pretty cool.
It's never been that quick for me before. All right, go ahead.
Donna, our friend Donna Krieger is in the chat room. She did a super chat. Been so long, I've joined Friday Live. I just wanted to tell you both, you're still my favorite people. Oh, Donna.
Oh, thanks, Donna.
Donna.
Did you know, I was looking at the Entertainment Weekly while I was taking a doot the other day.
Yes.
And
I put those in there for you.
And it has the cast of Breaking Bad in it.
Yeah.
On that cover, 3 out of the 4 primary characters of Breaking Bad were in what popular sitcom TV show? Can anyone name it?
Malcolm in the Middle.
Incorrect.
I don't know.
Anybody in the chat room knows that answer, you get a free guild project.
Oh, jeez.
Not a giveaway, just a guild project.
Yeah. I thought you were going to link this back to Donna somehow.
Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with anything we were just talking about.
Random Marc thought. Okay.
This is a Marc segue.
Okay.
Brought to you by Entertainment Weekly.
Entertainment Weekly.
If anybody can name the TV show, watch the chat. First person who gets that TV show wins.
All right.
Who got it first? Mork and Mindy.
What?
Are you kidding me, dude?
Somebody said.
So Alex Leffelman looks like the first one.
Seinfeld.
Okay, so Alex, get in touch with Nicole.
He was in Seinfeld.
All
That's
3
right.
of them have been in at least an episode of Seinfeld. And the 4th guy was too young.
Yeah.
He was probably like
Alex.
5 years old at the time.
If he was born.
Okay, so Alex gets hooked up with the guild
Email me,
project.
Nicole at thewoodwhisperer.com. All right, we have some more super shots.
Yeah,
this
let's.
one from
We're
Cynthia
probably
Shane.
running long here, aren't we?
I just bought a secondhand solid cherry dining room table, and I
Nice.
would like to refinish the top a little bit. There's no little bit.
It's like being a little bit pregnant.
Can I do just a light sanding with 320 and then use some wipe-on poly on the top?
Okay, so they're actually, I mean, we made a joke, but she's on the right track. You absolutely can kind of do a partial refinish, where you're not actually digging down to the raw wood. You're just kind of refreshing the finish. That is certainly possible. The problem is you don't know, number one, what's on the table, how it was treated, how thick that finish is. So if, for instance, a finish has a big, nice varnish layer on it, a couple years later, you can absolutely sand that surface down with 320, get rid of a bunch of scratches, and then recoat it with some new stuff, and it should be fine. In the case, of a second-hand piece, you don't have as much information on that. So yes, in theory, you should be able to just kind of carefully sand it with 320 and then throw a new finish on top. The trick though is you don't know how thick that finish is. If you start to sand through that finish in even one spot, you're going to get through to bare wood, and now you're going to have a very visible mark that's going to.
Very different project.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Now I need to go for a full refinish. The other thing is cherry darkens over time. So if you do get down to that bare wood and you remove a little bit of material, you're actually going to get a very significant color change as well. The other thing is if the project was finished with like a polyurethane or a varnish, oil-based varnish material, that finish has been built up in layers. And you have to be careful when you sand that, because if you sand through one of those layers into the layer below, you kind of get what they would call like a witness mark that shows the line where those two layers are kind of transitioning. So if that happens, then you have another eyesore situation. So I'm going to say sort of cautiously, yes, you can do that, but understand that as you start sanding, you may be opening up Pandora's box in terms of refinishing.
Don't you even have an article that a lot of...
We have a couple refinishing articles, but I don't think we've talked about like a refresh.
Well, I know there's one article that we get a lot of women that are doing very similar things that usually comment on.
Well, we get the lion's share of our comments on our finishing articles are from women.
Yep.
When I've mentioned that before, trying to figure out what the reason is for that.
Yeah.
But it is a thing.
I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Boom.
Andrew and Ian both are live being on offcuts. So I just thought I'd give you somebody else's thoughts on where we broadcast live.
Andrew and Ian?
Yeah, Andrew and Ian said, I like having Friday Live.
You realize that's my brother and his partner's name as well? That's why I thought you were talking about my brother. I'm like...
Oh, yeah, no. Andrew Griffin and Ian C. Different. They're not your brother and
okay.
Andrew.
Well, they like it. What's the justification?
I like the main channel. It's just quality content.
Yeah, but
Is this not quality?
But what's the difference to the end user?
I don't know.
If they like if they like
both.
If they like Friday Live,
I don't know. What's
the difference if it's on our main channel or offcuts?
I'm just giving you some feedback.
But I need qualified feedback, Nicole. Send them surveys.
Clueless Woodworker says, "Hey guys, what's your thoughts on corded versus cordless track saws and the difference in cost? Is it worth it?"
This is something I've been thinking a lot about. For me, I've got the Festool system. I have enough Festool tracks that I don't even want to mess with a different brand. So Festool does have a really nice cordless track saw. As time goes on, I am actually moving more toward cordless things, like my jigsaw, for instance. It's like, what do I need a cord for that? If I have a cordless version, it's so much more mobile. The trick, though, with the track saw is, for me, dust collection, right? So if I have to have a dust, a shop vac, why am I spacing? A hose. If I have a hose attached anyway, that means I'm tethered. So while I'd like to just go and buy the cordless version of the Festool, if I'm going to use it with a hose, then I may as well have a power cord with it too and not have to worry about batteries. But if you're on a job site and you're not necessarily using dust collection, you're actually just going to use the bag attachment, those cordless ones are fantastic. And the batteries these days on all of our tools.
People are loving the
super
Makita
impressed.
cordless in the chat.
Yeah, and if you're not tied to the Festool system, go look at the Makitas. I think DeWalt might even have a cordless as well. But look at those battery-powered tools. They are really worth it, I think, compared to the corded brethren. But if you're doing like I'm doing in a shop and you're going to have a hose attached to it anyway, well, why not just have a power cord there as well? If I could figure out a way to just be completely, like I am with the jigsaw, completely disconnected from everything, that would be great. Imagine just cutting sheets of plywood down like that. It'd be fantastic. But I attach a hose and that makes me tethered.
So Rich Tapper just asked if we're doing Woodworkers Fighting Cancer this year and what the project's going to be. Yes, it's going to be challenging though, because I'm going at the end of September. We're going to be driving to Missouri for my dad's memorial. I'm in the process. I want to build a memory box for him and film it, and yeah. So it's probably not going to be as big as we've done in the past.
A little more low key.
Low key this year, but I still want to do something for my dad in honor and memory of him.
You know, look, this may be inappropriate, Rich, but you've got to tell me, was it difficult growing up with a name like Rich Tapper?
Rich Tapper?
Think about it.
Rich Tapper.
What's another name for Rich?
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, that might have been
I'm wondering if that was a problem for Rich. And I mean that in no, I don't mean any offense by that. I just like to point out funny, stupid things.
Yes. Because he himself is funny and
I am
stupid.
funny and stupid. And I'm also, guiding my son through a world of people who want to make fun of his name, and his name's Mateo, and
everyone wants to call him Potato.
Kids call him Potato and stuff like that. And it's like, buddy, we just wanted to give you a nice, unique name, and,
Well, and
kids are mean.
He does have the option of calling himself Matt, but he wants us to call him Matt, not the this.
Good luck with that,
Like-
kid. We gave you a name for a reason, and you know what? When you're 18, feel free to change it to Dinkelstein,
Dinkelstein.
whatever you want to call yourself. Until then, you're Mateo.
Robert Walker wants to know, he's new to woodworking. Which saw should he get first, a table saw or a miter saw?
Someone just asked me this question
I'm going to say table saw.
somewhere on another platform. I would say, well, here's the thing. If you're doing DIY projects around the house, I actually think a miter saw might be more helpful. Let's say you're doing flooring, trim. These are things that are all pre-made. You're cutting them to length and cutting them at angles. I think the miter saw is the better choice. If you're getting into woodworking and building furniture, I think the table saw is a more versatile option. It's going to allow you to rip, to cross cut. You could do joinery on it. You could do bevels, miters, all kinds of stuff. So I would say the table saw.
Boot V says, are you level 120 yet? We're not even close.
No, I'm like 112, I think.
I'm still 110.
Yeah.
I just logged in and I saw the cutscene.
And I got all my playing done while I was at IWF in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Was the only WoW time I've had.
Every time I walk by the computer, I'm like, oh, I want to play.
I want to sit down and play.
And then it's, Mommy, I need milk. You look thinner, Phil says.
Who looks thinner, me?
I'm guessing it's you.
Thank you.
We have a super chat. I'm sorry. Mr. K King 33, have you read Marc's article in Woodworkers Journal? If so, what do you think of his build?
And his name is Matt, not Mark.
Oh, sorry. Did I say Marc?
Yeah. So Matt has an outfeed table article
Yeah.
that he wrote for Woodworkers Journal. I saw he just posted a picture of it. What do I think of it? I haven't read it.
No.
Neither will I. I mean, why would I read that?
Because you're
It's a
funny.
friggin' article on an outfeed table. Congratulations to Matt. Actually, I think it's great. Getting
Yeah.
published is a little feather in your cap, and it's always fun to see your work in print.
It is.
But it's a good, solid outfeed table plan.
I still have your first article in, was it Woodworkers Journal? The
Oh, I don't
poker
know.
chip
No, that was Woodcraft magazine.
Woodcraft magazine?
Yeah, that was my first one.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
framed
great.
it and
I think it's
everything.
fantastic, and a good quality, solid outfeed table with storage is a thing that I need right now.
Don't we have videos for that?
I made outfeed tables, but I don't think I had storage.
Okay.
Yeah, my assembly
Yeah.
table had storage, but it's all just plywood boxes.
You should just fly Matt out and then have
Make him build it?
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt? You want to fly out
Come on, Matt.
and build me an outfeed table?
All right.
Anything else
Yeah,
before
we
we
should
go?
probably wrap it up because I'm going to have to go get the kids soon.
Can you pick a winner for the guild project?
Sure.
Maybe from the super chats.
Yeah,
Keep it short. me.
I like Daniel's question about the
Old.
lumber.
Yeah, the old lumber. Okay.
Daniel, you're
Daniel
my
Childs.
winner. Email me, Nicole@thewoodwhisperer.com, and I will get you set up with your free project in the guild.
Woohoo!
I feel like I'm missing something, but
I don't think so.
I don't know.
All right.
My brain's all over.
Yep. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and we will catch you next week. A quick reminder: Freeman Nightstand.
Free man, not staying.
The Fremont Nightstand. Today is the last day to get it for 40% off, bundled with other projects at the Wood Whisperer Guild. Go to the pre-orders page, and you'll find. Actually, we got a great line up there. There's a miter station, Ashley's turning thing. We've got the hang chair with jewelry. I think Matt's tool chest, the ultimate wall hanging tool chest. What a great lineup!
If you're not familiar with Jory, he was the winner.
The wiener
The winner of what was that show?
framework,
Framework.
I think, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that Spike TV
Yep.
show. It only ran for one season, but
had
it was.
comment on it, right?
Yep. And what you call it? What's his name?
Gore.
Brandon Gore.
Brandon Gore.
Yeah, good guy.
Yep.
Looks scary, but he's really nice.
Um,
So that's what you want in a judge. He looks scary, but he's actually a nice guy. Yeah, I think that's about it. Hey,
I think so.
thank you everyone for
Thank
watching.
you.
We truly appreciate
Yes.
it.
And thank you for all the well wishes.
Yes, that was great. There was an outpouring of support for
Yeah,
Nicole
thanks.
and her situation with her dad. So
I'm
we certainly
actually
appreciate that.
building. I'm making another quilt, so I'll be showing you my new quilt soon.
Yeah.
So.
Make Mark say babinga for us.
Babinga.
Bobinga. Or babinga.
And I'm just gonna double check my super chats because I always miss them. Oh, we're good.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
Have you read Matt's article, Nicole?
No.
Would you like to?
No.
I like on Facebook he said, hey, who wants plans for my or how did he word it?
I don't even read your stuff.
Something. He
So-
said something, and I said
Sorry,
I don't want them.